Thanks everyone for your patience. Had something come up at the last minute, and so we're a bit late tonight. But welcome to the March 14th Ahrb meeting. The first item on the agenda is 12 Livingston Avenue. We have heard from them saying that they'll be here at the next meeting. So we're going to give them one more continuation. Motion to continue to the next meeting. Yeah, your seconds.
Approved.
Unanimous. I'm assuming Dale is not going to be here. Is that right? Dale's out of town. Okay. 78 Northfield Avenue. Again, another item that's been our. Oh, they are here. Oh. The Wong residents. Hello. Come on up to the microphone. State your name and explain the project, please.
My name is Nayat Wong. My husband is Wilson Wong. We live in 78 Northfield Avenue, Dobbsbury, 10522.
Okay. We have no information except for a photograph that was during construction.
There are photographs. The applicant has added a window on the side of the house. I don't know what it looks like now. My suggestion to you is, if you want to approve it, contingent on it being finished to match the rest of the house.
Yeah, could you just briefly tell us what you did? Because this has been on the agenda for a very long time. I assume at some point we got something, but that's long since made its way out of my hands. So just tell me what the project is and what you've done.
Windows 3 feet down, 5 feet across.
And
the corner that was in the picture. And it was done beautifully by the contractor and us.
Is the job finished?
It's finished.
do you have a photograph? The only photograph we have is during construction, and it's very hard for us to look at that, that's half done, and give you an approval for something like that.
I should have brought one that's all finished with the blind and all that. It's beautiful.
So here's what we can do tonight. We can propose, we can approve you contingent on a finished photograph making its way to Ed. And
Well, why don't we approve it when we get the material?
you want to wait?
Yeah.
All right, well, submit it. You don't have to come.
You don't have to come, just
Submit it to Ed.
Okay.
He'll put it before us. We'll approve it at this meeting, but you don't have to be here to explain it.
Okay. I'm going to put 3 steps for the firemen to.
Give us a picture.
If they need it.
We did everything as Mr. Cook specified, exactly.
And Mr. Manning too.
I don't doubt that, but we have a process, and the process requires some documentation. So send that in, and we'll put it on our next agenda. Okay, thank you. So for now, we'll continue this to the next meeting.
And second.
Yeah, your seconds, unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we just have a photograph.
Building department.
Yeah.
Bring it to the building department.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Night. Mercy College?
Hi, I'm Tom Simmons, Vice President for Operations at Mercy College.
And I'm Angela Martin, and I'm the Executive Director for Safety, Security, and Human Resources at Mercy College.
Ongoing as part of the new residence hall we had approved last year that was built, we had a lot of discussions with the Village of Dobbsbury about a traffic demand management plan that we've been working with people on. As part of that, we introduced a guard at the front entry as you come in off of Route 9 around the turn where the top of the parking lot was, and it had a lot of good effects for us in controlling traffic, having us take a good hard look at permitting and all those sorts of things. We're trying to reduce the single occupancy cars. With that, we had some conversations with Chief Ghilardi and then the mayor and the team about actually putting an accessory structure there at the fork that would aid us in doing such, and in inclement weather, keep the guards out of that. Also could act as a welcome center. As you're aware with the project, when it was approved, we have a full project on the front entry that's still at DOT with their approvals, that has a turning lane and does a lot of things. So we worked with the leaders of Dobbs Ferry thinking that this would be a good solution. It's a prefabricated structure that we've looked at that will be purchased. It's a metal building that has a hip metal roof on it that we can make the color of kind of the architectural dark bronze look that's on the windows and the buildings around it, has our school colors on it. It's 6 by 8 in size, works on slab on grade, and it's at the edge of the parking area there. And it would be set in place in a way that if things change and we have to move that with the entry piece as it gets approved, that we could do such.
So my question is, just we have a few images here. We're using the blue one, right?
Yes, the blue.
Haven't you traditionally had a small structure there?
Years ago,
There
there was
was
one.
one,
There was one, okay.
predates both of us, but there was one
Okay.
there.
Okay.
I see no issue with this. I guess that there's one thing that comes to mind, which isn't necessarily so pertinent to this particular small piece of the puzzle, but how this fits into a broader master plan of some of these other things that there's clearly a very intelligent goal of expanding on a site that's really fantastic, and it is temporary. So really, you can, if and when you get to that point in the master plan, which could encompass stylistic direction for the future architects or engineers that come in, or future administrative folks who don't maybe have less inclination towards sort of high style aesthetic. So I just asked that question just to be curious as to what if anything is happening. But I think the structure itself is good and it makes a lot of sense. So we have no issue with it.
Yeah, so in addition to that, we share with you some of the ideas behind the master plan piece. We're looking at the new building. So there's 5 or 6 other initiatives on different pieces that we're kind of advanced almost to a concept level now that will come down with that, and the different people that kind of involve you in those, like we had said we would, on those pieces of it before they kind of, so we can understand the broader concepts, what we're trying to do before we interject the kind of design themes on this.
Yeah, because ultimately this could be part of an entry sequence of architectural interventions instead of off the
Yes.
truck interventions.
And we're assuming that the signs that are out front with the radius that were required for the turning are going to have to be relocated, and probably rethought of too, so that fits right into what you're talking about, is the ability to kind of change that seams there.
I make a motion, we approve this as submitted, and this is using, you want to use the bronze color, I think, certainly think that's the best. Well, I can't tell what's blue. No, he says it's bronze.
The roof, part of it's blue.
Oh, the bronze color for the blue.
Bronze
The
color.
roof is
And the other is this sort of, is it a
Yeah.
greenish color?
Yes.
Mercy colors?
Yeah.
Okay. I make a motion to approve this as submitted.
Second.
Seconds.
Approved.
Unanimous, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
41 Blanchard Avenue. It's this one. We have an easel, which is,
The chair.
we actually have something just for this occasion.
I thought people bring their own. Oh, we got it.
He's got it.
There was a really good point you made about Mercy College. on the campus. It's a place. You know, there was some-
Max project. I trained. I have a returning client and a returning resident of the town. Mr. and Mrs. Juka. I just wanted to introduce them briefly to the board. Ricky and Freddie Juka.
Welcome.
Just introduce yourself.
I've been living at 41 Blanchard Avenue for the last 25 years.
So, we are proposing an addition to the house. I think, some numbers on the existing first floor is around 1,400 square feet, and we are adding 460 square feet to the first floor. We are basically keeping our right-hand side setback, more or less, which the right-hand side right now is around 7 and change, is not conforming. We are actually, our proposed line is conforming, we are going to a line of 11 feet. And the setbacks are 10 feet on each side. We have a garage addition on the left side of the property, and most of our addition is in the back. And we're adding a second floor. We're adding a second floor. Right now, the house is a cape.
Do you have photos of the existing? It's there.
But I do have a picture.
Wait. It's probably here. I must have missed it. Oh, here.
We prepared a board for you, basically that's our
I
existing
got it.
property. And then we have the adjacent home also. This house, 33 Blanchard is across the street. And Ron Juka is Ricky's brother. He lives right down the street. We did their home.
We were about 8 years, about 8 years ago.
7, 8 years ago.
Different board at that time.
And so 45 Blanchard. And we have pointed out more or less on the board. I don't know if it's difficult to see.
No, we can see.
So it would be better to see. You can also get a better idea of the actual existing front elevation.
Mhm.
It is a simple cave.
Yes.
What you see here is our proposed elevation front. We are removing the cave, and we are adding a second floor. We are adding 461 feet to the first floor. And the second floor, we are not completely following the footprint of the first floor. We are actually coming in a little bit on the side, but we are adding approximately 1,100 square feet on top. We have some issues with the, exposure limitations imposed in the town are a little bit restrictive to us. So while I did I prepared this board for you, showing the line of protrusion, and the left and the right are okay, but the front and basically the property is asymmetrical, is almost like a trapezoidal shape. So it's narrow in the front and widens up in the back. So maybe in the back, if we stand at a chance in the back, if you see the lines are protruding, but they're still cutting off our roof line, especially on the left side. But in the front of the property, they're really unique to what we're trying to do. Now, I would like to point out the total house is maybe 3,400 square feet when everything is said and done. Hardly a McMansion. We try to keep it as sensible as we could, and to comply within the limits to give the client a viable addition and try to comply as much as we could with this kind of setbacks, which is my inkling that mostly they are for newer lots, or this is really difficult to comply in a case like this with all the roof and skyline restrictions, because they happen to be only at 10 feet high, and then you start a 45-degree line.
No, we know it well.
Yeah.
We discuss it often. As you go forward, would you mind taking the microphone just so we pick up for the record? Can you, I'm sure you went through this section of sky exposure plan because you do have a diagram of a compliant version, which is part of a requirement for any type of consideration of relief for the sky exposure plan. Now, it isn't intended to prevent someone from building a two-story house, but it is intended to prevent one from building a house that is out of scale with one's neighbors or with one's property. So could you go through the diagrams that you produced for the compliant version?
Well, the compliant version, I have a very small, what I did, I ghosted the proposed house, and then, yes, I do have, in the background, you will see, in the background, you will see, sorry. I think this is something I would like to maybe show a little bit more. If you don't mind, I'll approach.
Yeah, please, just take the mic if you would.
Show you and the microphone.
Yes.
Only because it's ghosted in the background.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ricky, you want to hold this one? Thank you. So you see the version, the ghosted version in the back, and I'm sorry, the proposed version, and what would have been the outcome if you would have followed the actual setback lines with the sky exposure. Especially the front and the back would have been really restrictive. We would be left basically with almost the same first floor platform, but when you use roof lines, you might as well keep the cake on. At that point, it's really. And I just would like to point out that maybe there is only one house in the block that is compliant to this setback. Every other house that is in the block is non-compliant. So for the record, I'd like to point that out. And I believe is this house here that is.
It's a ranch?
I'm sorry, this.
That's what it
What
looks like.
number is this house? Do you remember?
39 Blanchard.
39 Blanchard, I think.
It is a ranch, though.
It is a
So
ranch.
It's a one-story.
And because of that, I think it's the only compliant house on the block to the restrictions of the skyline exposure. I can tell you maybe a little bit more about the materials if it's of interest to you.
Can I ask,
Sure.
I missed your name. Is this one, Max?
Yes.
Max. Question for you is this, you provide us here with a compliant version, right?
Yes.
How many square feet the house if you do something like that?
If I
You just work within the envelope, the compliant envelope.
The square footage of the house probably would be maybe an extra, no, I see
Let's
what
say
you're
you're going
doing.
all the way to here.
Mhm.
Or even if it's a minor encroachment, it's fine.
Mhm.
But it's a full roof, because I see that you are not using it as a usable attic.
No, it's a heap.
It's a-
Yeah. Well, I don't have a heap structurally right now, I have to like
Well, okay, it's an addition anyway.
yes.
So
Um,
you can reframe it and work with the parameters.
Yeah, we could, I mean, if,
Actually, let me show you this to Michael. And
yeah,
Just
what
I'm
it
trying
will do, it
deeply.
will,
What I'm trying to ask is if they
Yeah.
work within a.
You can hit the roof.
We can hit the
no,
roof,
no, but it's not just hitting the roof, just look at what you're doing on that side.
just going straight,
You
hitting
are
the roof.
reducing my footprint on both sides.
No, I can go all the way to the footprint.
Mhm,
I can go straight.
mhm, mhm.
Because I see that your heights are 9'10", and
My height is way below, the actual height,
No, but-
I am way
oh.
below what is the
No,
requirement.
but from here is 9'10".
Your family room is,
So if you bring it to 8 feet on the core, it's fine. You can do a coffer ceiling at the detail, and you are in compliance, and you don't need to ask for any consideration.
Mhm, mhm.
That's that's what I'm trying
To
to say.
change the actual roof framing, you're saying?
But the
I'm gonna
change,
have to
the
take
framing
It
is
is
changing.
new roof
It's a new roof
framing
anyway.
because it's a new floor.
the second floor especially, you have at 9 feet for the plate heights, right?
Yes.
So if you were to reduce the plate heights and then keep the tree ceiling, you would still,
The tree ceiling is only in one bedroom,
Right.
everything else is actually.
but you have a 9-foot plate height right now, right?
Not everywhere, only in the.
Not everywhere?
Only in the master bedroom. Everything else I think is actually, oh no, you're right, yeah, it's here I have
So if you,
a tray ceiling.
so if you brought it down to 8 feet
Mhm.
and then started spinning the roof and look at something else, you might have some other options, I think, that's what we're looking at.
Mhm, mhm. Um, do you understand what the board is saying? They are.
There are a couple of issues before we go, because I see it, if I see that the sky exposure plane is really compromising the feasibility of a second floor, and there is an integrity or merit to the architectural proposal, then I will look at favorably. But in this case, I see that if you work within
Mhm.
the parameters, I think you can achieve similar square footage and do a very attractive house also that works better with the neighbors, in character with the neighbors. There is another pattern that I see in that specific area, which is the use of dormers. Instead of bringing in the elements of, these kind of elements that are repetitive, 1, 2.
Mhm.
Instead of, if you continue, you bring a dormer, I guess you keep in character with the area. You still have the light and the verticality of the atrium that you wanna, the interior atrium that you wanna create,
Now,
which
we
is
can
fine.
do- My issue with the heat is usually that it's a lot more expensive to frame a heat roof. If you do have, and usually what I end up doing, I put a built-up truss to carry the load of my hips down, especially if I have a higher ceiling at 9 foot or 9 foot.
You are changing, when you do this break,
Yeah.
you are making less expensive, less inexpensive, let's say, because you are bringing this item that is, it's almost balancing the cost.
The front we would like more or less to keep, but then if you do something like that, you're gonna have to, if you put the two hips on the sides.
Yes.
um,
The character of the house will, I'm talking about what my opinion is. I think will be more in favor with the character of the street and the character of the original house. I
Well,
think.
the original house has no character.
Agreed.
It just
Agreed,
absolutely
agreed,
zero
but,
character.
agreed.
What I, you know, if they understand what you're proposing, I don't have an objection to the structure, but I do have an objection to the aesthetics. And I do not think that the two roofs of the heaps on the side, steep like that, and maintaining the same height, I don't think it will look.
Max, the issue also is that you have a very tall building
that
on
back
a
down,
small
it's fine
piece
with
of
me.
property, and that's why it makes it even more exacerbated, the
What
height
is the
on,
overall height? Let me check 1 second. What our height is. What is the height requirement and what are we at?
28 feet is
the rationale for the sky exposure
The-
plan is to limit the heights.
The maximum building height is 35 feet, 2.5 story. I am at 29.6 feet. How is this a very tall building? I don't understand. It's not that I have 10 or 15
It's
foot
not
tall
a-
buildings.
It's not a tall building in terms of code, it's a tall building for the size of the property. If this were on a much larger property, you would not have an issue with the sky exposure plan.
Of course. this
That's-
is an
that's
existing
the whole
property,
thing.
but
Yeah, well,
If
there's
you
a,
can
there are
use
three,
at
there
least
are three
on-
controls, it's the ridge height, the eve height, and then the sky exposure
Sky
plane. So,
exposure
Yeah.
so it's one of the three measurements. I think the big picture is only that we have only, the only thing you have to show that, as a comparative analysis is this.
You don't have to go by this.
No, exactly, that's what I wanna say.
I don't dislike this if I can reach the same. more
We
or
don't
less
want you
the
to do
same.
this, we want you to do what makes sense with this diagram of using the volume available to you.
My only issue with this, I don't even, how can even aesthetically, honestly, it looks a little lopsided to me. To just look how uneven the elevation would look. And it's fine to follow this, but in order for us to,
Look, this is as much as a scheme as doing this.
As much-
You
Yeah, I mean-
have to work it out.
No, but you can come into this, you can come into here with dormers at this point. I
Right,
mean,
that's what I'm
you
saying.
can build into the sky exposure plane with the
With the
dormers.
dormers.
And that will
Right.
alter the front elevation
There's
quite
a
dramatically.
solution to it.
If I may, I think the issue really is this, if you look at the house where it's placed, the right neighbor is the reason we're, you know, because we're so much closer, the way it's placed, it's
Mhm.
so much closer to the
True.
right neighbor, right? We don't have as much space on the left.
Right.
And that's the issue here, right? That's why it may be protruding more on the right-hand side than the left-hand side. Now, that being said, I think the way, I mean, we went through about 16 different types of just shapes and designs before we
we
finally
did
settled.
experiment with it. With the
Does it
sky
at least-
line in mind, it's not that we just threw this out the
No,
window.
I understand.
And to be as symmetrical as possible, because he's extremely big on being symmetrical and being, you know,
But the house is not symmetrical.
Yeah, the house is-
well, if you look at it compared to where, you know, in this format, he did come in a little bit to try to,
And the roof looks nice, actually, I like the roof wrapping around.
he did come in a little bit on the right-hand side as well, right? So he did, but, you know, that's
Just
just,
to minimize that, the very same,
Yes.
it's not that we follow the same lines, on this side, actually, we don't have, but over here and in the front, we set it back to create that apron, which I thought aesthetically would look good. Ron, the issue of the roof line is really framing wise, in my opinion, is a little bit more expensive, I have to tell you the truth, from a framer point of view, but that's not even an issue. Aesthetically, I don't think it's an issue if you follow what they're saying,
I
right?
understand what I'm saying, and as far as heights go, I mean, I think everyone except for, they're all getting high. I mean, this is across the street from us.
Yeah, but that's an anomaly.
That is,
wouldn't-
I agree.
I dislike it.
Yeah, I agree, it doesn't belong in the neighborhood, that's for sure, but even 2 blocks, 2 doors down from us, like all the new builds are coming around to be a little bit more, you know.
Sure, and we'll have the same conversation with those people if they're doing what you're proposing to do, which is to seek to go beyond what you're permitted to do.
Yeah, I mean, we can honestly, I mean, and I'm open to suggestion and even the framing, we will definitely, you know, it's not the skylines are still.
I know one problem that I have, that I agree with you. When I looked at this proposal first, I thought it was much bigger than what it really
It's
is.
only 3,000 square feet.
No, I'm saying that the house looks much bigger than what it really is. So there is a deceiving aspect in the choice of the central element that you're using. That is deceiving and makes it look even bigger.
Because it's two-story, yeah.
No, it's because of this triangular tympano that you put on top of the things. So, and this window, it creates a different, it belongs to.
But if this were to just imagine for 1 second, this is easy for me and probably for you to imagine. But when I say to me looks lopsided.
No, it's a totally different scheme. You can't take this out and make it work because it's not.
Even if I have a dormer, the dormer is really not gonna have anything.
Probably if you loosen up on here, you have the dormer here.
The whole element of this window.
But that element can be smaller
No, why?
because it's
The whole thing of the house.
but that is out of proportion to the rest of the facade.
Not really, no. I mean,
That's my opinion. I have here other opinions that I just.
no, I know, but I don't honestly find it to be out of proportion. Everything seems to be aligned and it goes with the height, is not that we have a very steep roof this window is not a huge window, it's like,
It's as big as the entry.
at the door, yeah, the door is 6 feet. I don't have like a.
No, it's big. It goes from it's bigger as much as this. No, the door is small.
Oh, with the side lights.
You see the window?
actual ground window itself is 6 feet.
See, this is the window, right?
The window, the round window is 6 feet. That is really I understand the role of the board, but, so what I hear is basically.
This type of intrusion, I'll be okay with it. This is too much of a, we permit eaves, we permit minor intrusions to sky exposure plane. I permit problems. When it's really
Or dormers.
Dormers, it's okay, you can use dormers to,
This is the rear part of the house
but still, it's that sky exposure plane on
No, I understand.
Because it's about the presence of the building
Full-
to
full
your neighbor.
And I would be okay even with a heap on this side or just try to compensate with a dormer. But definitely if you do that, we're gonna have to reduce the size of this.
There's no question you will have to reconfigure some of these other elements. You can't, we're not suggesting you just make this a hip and a dormer.
There might
In
be
this
some-
scheme, you would have to rethink how some of these elements work.
What are these other solutions?
No, there might be some more
there might be
attractive
other-
ways of doing it.
We went over about 16 different angles.
This is a big house.
3,000.
No, I'm saying if you keep it the 2 floors and, the proof will work. I understand you don't like it, but it's been created and invented already, so, no, the heaps,
No, even in this particular, in the front of the house, honestly, even if you put
a dormer,
a dormer there, don't you think it's gonna look like
I don't know,
really asymmetrical, or
Well, the
just for the
AC,
sake of following
the asymmetry?
exposure?
the asymmetry, you have it, right? You create the asymmetry in the A here. And this resets back and makes this as a frontal, and you can recess it back, so you have the symmetry.
No, we can try and compensate with something like that, but even that, in the actual reality of how you perceive it three-dimensionally, is set back.
But
Zoning envelopes have produced beautiful things in the history of architecture, and so I find it hard to believe that you couldn't explore some schemes that use a zoning envelope.
We can try and adjust it, but you see the hip yourself. This will be lopsided, no question.
I
No
think,
question.
I think, you know, sky exposure makes a lot of sense, but given the size of this lot, right? And the fact that we have so many neighbors, no one else is compliant on this whole block, except for one house.
Yeah, but
And that's a ranch.
That,
And
but
that's
that,
a
this
ranch,
is the house.
completely, you know, and none of them will comply. I mean, that's a big factor, right?
Do you have something you can show us? I mean, do you have a diagram you can show us? I mean, of the existing non-compliant houses? I mean, that was, yes.
I did a study with a laser and a story pole, and I went through this particular neighborhood about 3-4 years ago. And to show that this sky exposure plan, how it works in the 50 by 100 lot zone, and I can attest to the fact that
No, look, we
that's
have,
not
we
the
have
only
given,
one on the block
we
that
have given
works as that
passes,
ranch.
we have given passes for minor
Northfield.
intrusion.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, an important precedent is Maple Street that we recently looked at, where all of the houses are non-compliant because of the type of lot. And that allowed us a certain flexibility,
Yeah,
but.
we're not really asking for that.
Regardless of that, I think to also, I mean, look, I've been architect in Westchester for like 28 years, from Yonkers to North Westchester. So I deal with a lot of municipalities, and I know a lot of codes, and I know all the building inspectors personally. I have no issue with the aesthetics of the adjustments, but honestly, on a 50 by 100 lot, this kind of heavy imposition, when you are complying with the roof height, when you're complying with all the setbacks, it's very, very imposing, honestly. And I'm not going with this board, or not excessive may be the word. But in order to achieve something, again, I'm looking at this scheme because that's the only thing that really follows. You telling me you like it, you know, if I don't have any other
There is
choice.
nothing to like because there is no project, there is no
but I'm
proposal, I'm just
it's
saying that it's a
completely
massive.
unbalanced, though. And in order for me now to make it look balanced, I have to reduce the front of the house and the windows and the gables, and it's really a domino effect that now starts to detracting from the aesthetics of the house on 150 by 100, guys, it's a small lot. It's not that, we're not building a mansion on it, it's a 3,400 square feet home. By old standards, it's not a huge home. I don't have a crazy roof line. I have front to back cable.
Would you be willing to look at least lowering the height of the second floor, since you're already looking?
No, but even, believe me, I will consider that I have, you know, we are open to suggestion. I will consider the heat on that side. But just, and you sketch it, and there is not too many alternatives, Mr. Sherman. It's not that we can reinvent the wheel. It does look too really lopsided to me. If there is any other, and a dormer will not resolve it. But yes.
But here's the thing, the burden is not on the board to show that it can or can't work. The burden is on the applicant to show that it can or can't work. And so there are possibilities for relief, and you know what those are. You can look at a more minor intrusion. You can look at an alternate scheme that complies with the acceptable types of sky exposure penetrations. And we can weigh those two schemes against what you are saying is a more aesthetically integral one. And that's really the only recourse that we have we need some sort of evidence that what you're saying is in fact the case, that this is the scheme that is one that is harmonious, and that any other scheme that you present to us that is compliant would not be. And I guess the way that we feel at the moment is, and I agree with some of the things EIR is saying, is that there is potential for a alternate, harmonious, and compliant, or more compliant scheme than the one you have. And so I agree with you, 3,300 square feet is not a large house. You do have some harder constraints with a smaller lot, but those are the facts of the property you bought. You bought a 50 by 100 lot. You
No,
bought-
but that's,
Oh,
no,
really?
that's
That's
fine.
the one you
We
want.
are here
And
to-
so, and we didn't write this portion of the code, we just are asked to enforce it.
No, but the question is, why do you think this is looks loop-sided?
I will go back, no, well, I'm gonna have to reduce this, otherwise it's gonna look.
Of course, yeah, I mean, but there isn't any reason that you can't add some central axial focus of something grand and important.
You can do like a lot of light here coming into
Yeah.
things, coming
It just,
down.
you're right, this element, at the scale it is, doesn't work when you cut this off and add a dormer, it's ridiculous. But it doesn't mean you can't have some big element that brings light into your foyer.
All I'm saying is the central piece is the central piece, and then you have creases like you bring down a little bit.
No, this side I'm perfectly fine with, this will look good, I have no issue with that. Unless I make this a main element and in my axis, and then.
That's
maybe
possible.
a dormer on that
Yeah,
side.
I think
If the dormer will mitigate it in a 3D, you know, because you're really looking at it from the side, so it does not have, it's not as imposing as, so, Ricky, you follow what?
Yeah, no, I'm just listening, I'm just thinking, I mean, basically, you just want us to change the way the house,
The volume.
the volume.
The volume.
Just follow the, what he's proposing here, a scheme that shows that they're compliant. I see potential in that scheme, on what you just proposed.
Just to reduce a little bit this in terms of size and then have hips.
Bring the height down.
Even
No, keep the height. This doesn't keep the height.
You know, it would still be non-compliant or, you know, borderline, but I think. I mean,
Yeah, we're gonna,
the
you know.
The hips is not gonna look bad. I personally happen to like hips, you know. But, you know, when you have the only issue sometimes you have with the hips is it's really difficult to frame a flat vaulted ceiling or a cathedral. Then you have to back frame it with a truss to carry the weight of the hips. So that's but I mean, usually it ends up being a little bit more expensive. But, in the
But
overall.
you say because you don't have to build all this.
I see the logic there. So,
Yeah, I think the whole idea was just, before, having a nice light coming in and.
You still have the last night. That doesn't change.
Maybe reducing the, obviously,
Yeah, actually, I have more light here. In terms of square footage of light, yes, it's more in this.
I think that you can have that element. I don't see why the reduction in some of these ways would.
The actual roof itself, make it a smaller roof.
Well, but this is one way to do it.
Yeah.
There are many ways to do it. If the issue of light, you can have square footage of glazing match 1-to-1.
Ricky, I don't see an issue with giving it another try. I mean, sometimes, from experience, again, all these years, there is always a lot of resistance, but then you go back to the drafting board and at the end result, it ends up becoming even better than what you expect. Sometimes it happens. And I'm not saying this, I've seen it many times. I don't think it will, hurt us to go back and give it another try, come back with an alternative proposal, if you guys are okay with it.
The level of the drawings is very well detailed, and the materials I don't have a problem with. We are in good hands. Yeah.
Harvey Blank.
Yeah, it's fine.
is that the only issue? Is that the only issue?
That's the main issue.
This board, yes.
Is the volume.
In front of this board, yes. But we're not gonna cut back into the square footage.
No, square footage stays the same.
The framing on the roof, and very, probably I will end up reducing the height of this gable, and maybe, so that between the hip and here you see some roof. Because you want to see some roof.
On the inside?
Yeah, no, on the outside. In other words, if this goes lower and you have a hip here, at least there is roof between the two, which will make it more appealing than So we can make it proportional. My issue is that it's still at the end of the day, it looks proportionate. And we can make it proportional.
I'm thinking about bringing, you know, this element that you have here, just carrying it.
It's kind of a Japanese look to it, isn't it?
We'll work on it. I mean, I don't have any
So
objection.
it really pops out as the central element, and you keep the symmetry, which is important to you, right? And you create, you know, whatever it is here.
And not necessarily the symmetry is important to me.
You mentioned
Important to me,
And I was-
what is important to me is that at the end of the day, it still looks proportionate and it comes together, okay?
And that we have the same goal in mind, and we also want to see you build the house that you want to spend the rest of your life in. So I don't think we have different goals here. I think we just have
And the-
slightly different ideas about how we get there.
You know, the master bedroom looks phenomenal.
Actually, that was the idea, because that, if you open the door on a master bedroom, it gives you a nice. look
You
from
still
that.
have it. You still have that.
Let me, if I ask if there's no way we can, like, maybe somehow do an exception on that.
Yes, if it works fast next week, the next hearing, we give it approval.
But that is the only issue now, is that what you're
That's
saying?
it.
That's the only
I'm
issue?
sorry.
One issue, Mr. Chairman, I believe next year, according to your zoning chart, you're about 10 inches high on the ridge and 6 inches on the eave for prescriptive.
Okay.
So you can do contextual math for the neighborhood and take the average and multiply it by 1.25, and that may give you a higher variance.
But we're okay with it, really.
Yes, but I'm saying by zoning, you're not. So maximum right now prescriptively is 28 at the ridge and 22 at the eave.
Okay.
You're at 28.
29. 29, yeah, 1 foot.
Right. So if you measure 200-foot radius, the houses on the street, just do a little chart, and take the average and multiply it by 1.25, you'll most likely have a higher density, and you won't need a variance.
Okay. Exactly.
Right, you'll go higher. If you have any questions about it,
The other remaining houses in the
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably just lowering the region.
you can do it that
Yeah,
way
that's-
too, or you can just take a laser ruler and go out and measure some of them, and you can keep it the way it is.
Okay, let's see how it goes.
Just do the math. Okay.
Okay, so, back to the drafting, we'll come back with the,
So, my question was, so, let's say we come out with the idea the way you guys propose, and Max comes out with.
No,
the-
no, it's his proposal, we just
Well,
review.
okay, you know, in that way. You come in next week with more papers, or the one we are?
Just bring the elevations.
Yeah, just bring
let's
us the
see the
pictures.
floor plans.
And they don't have to be as, yeah, I mean, they just bring, you can bring in
Yeah,
simpler elevations.
Less
on-
detail is fine.
I did have a couple, I mean, I have a couple of sort of minor points to ask.
Mhm.
I don't, these being fixed windows,
Yes.
are you achieving your egress window size for the bedrooms on the side? I didn't take a look. I also, there was how you turn the corner, I'm not really sure what's happening. You have a stone base, and then it seems to be a bit higher, and then it turns into a wood siding. In other words, there's no sort of three-dimensional continuity,
No.
or I can't tell from the drawing, maybe.
No, I think it's only in the front.
It's only the
front.
I know, but
there is a termination detail.
Sample of the stone if you want.
Yeah, I just think that what you're doing is terminating the stone in a wood.
Maybe just.
Yeah, maybe you
or
just,
turn it around a little bit to make the round.
so that there's some
The stone on the
three-dimensional,
side.
I don't know.
Leave it on the side of the house.
Turn it.
Just have it, give it a little,
Yeah.
Great, I have no issue with the stone or the hardy
Very
plank,
Just
it's just how you,
the detail on how it turns the corner.
That's fine.
the way it meets, basically.
That's it.
because now you have a kind of an unusual tectonic here with the stone meeting the wood at the corner.
Yeah.
These are the sort of little things that we can work out.
I
I can
think
go
you-
over at the next meeting, we can make an amendment with pen to the drawings, and we can, we can move forward.
I mean, the elevations are gonna be more or less what you see, because sort of we always hatch them anyways, because it gives you a feeling of the material, so.
Yeah, no,
I'm not gonna
it's
be
good to
much
do that.
simpler than that. So on the side, we were saying maybe just have a return of the stone.
The way it meets on the edge,
Yeah.
the edge becomes rock instead.
And then we could go over there's a few notes that aren't, a few things aren't identified. What is the garage door, what's the front door, some items like that.
The color of the garage, or like?
Is it a wood, I can't tell, it looks like the front door is a wood door, is it, what is it?
Wood, yes, we're thinking of wood. Is the color of concern to the board, or?
No, only that the house be compositionally harmonious.
Oh, believe me, we will make sure it doesn't look that way, so. The door itself, also, this is a wood door.
That's a wood door.
Okay,
For solid.
maybe what we could do, we can point out the color of the stain, or, so I think those things are.
Those are generally provided for us.
Okay.
If you tell us of what species of it. It's a
Color
medium
is-
brown stain on the oak.
Yeah,
White
almost
oak
like a
door.
regular wood color.
No, what is it,
Like
a darker shade.
The darker side.
Some stain of wood.
Okay, show us.
Mahogany looks like that.
And the windows are white, and the board, the trim is white, and the material is hardy plank.
Can you see the color of the hardy that's going on?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Show us what you brought.
That will, next time will be quick and painless.
This is actually a evening wood, it's a hardy.
That's good.
I've got the white trim and
Yeah, it's good.
And good with the
It's a
stone.
softer, now it looks darker in smaller samples from experience.
Yeah.
that's
When
the
you have it on a big surface, it looks more pastel. This looks dark here, I don't know why. That's the, and the white trim. Actually, this would look nice too.
I just saw it looks very dark at the same time. Does it give contrast?
Maybe it is a little darker, right? Maybe this one?
You want some contrast.
Yeah, that actually might bring it on.
I think it might.
That's fine.
You know,
Yeah, that's fine.
but that is too close.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
This one.
So let me change that. What is it?
So you're fine with those colors?
I'm fine.
Which one is this?
Yeah, it's-
It's right
Peter Gray. Peter Gray.
Peter Green.
Gray.
Great. When is the next meeting? At is the 28th? You meet 28th once a month or twice?
Twice.
Like,
Good, that's good news. Let me see if I can wrap this up for the next meeting.
Anything else we should have? in-
Just make it simple drawings, so you
Ah,
don't have to,
No problem.
and then you have time to catch up on the detailing.
Don't have much time, but we will take care of it.
Yes.
Do we need to do the mailing again? No.
No.
Okay. We'll be here. We'll
Thank
see you.
Thank you, thank you.
It'll be a nice
Thank you.
project, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll make a motion, we continue this to the next meeting.
I'll second it.
Mayor seconds, unanimous. Okay, thank you. Best losing time this year. 26 Bellair, please.
This one's just the existing that's non-conforming, right, not the addition.
I think that, but I wanted,
That wasn't clear on that.
it appears to be.
Hi, my name is David Burns, I'm the owner and applicant. The proposal is a 369 square foot addition off the rear of the house. It is, I went through the zoning board meeting last week regarding the setback because our house is non-compliant, we're looking to align with the northern space of it. And got approval on the zoning hearing last week for the setback, both the north side and the combined setback that is 125 feet required. As a part of that, with the roof line, you'll notice that in keeping that northern wall equal, it also flips this back further plane as the existing roof benefits this back further plane. So we're basically looking to bring that roof line down into the extension, and then this thing is regrading in the back. We currently have about a 6 foot high fieldstone wall that we need to take down because it's failing, and we're looking to regrade and terrace and better that condition right now is pretty tough once you get into the rear yard.
So if we look at A006, which is there's a section diagram and an elevation diagram with the sky exposure plane line. The existing house, so I'm just gonna draw on here. The existing roof line is really here and continuing down. And so this kind of shaded area is all existing, non-compliant.
Right.
And so what we're discussing is actually this
The lower
chart here as the new,
Right. So parking.
yes, understood, but we
Yes.
are aligning in a very,
Small.
yeah.
The proposed materials would just be an extension of what we did. We went through the approval process in 13 to get approvals on recladding, taking off the aluminum, putting on cedar, doing roofing. There are 2 small metal roof areas on the porches that we would be matching in the rear.
Yeah, well, the house looks, the renovation looks great.
It's very attractive.
I have no comment. I think it looks
No, I
great.
think it's a very nice
This is the
addition.
kind of, yeah, I mean, the roof line is elegantly done, and it's the kind of thing that you really wouldn't want to do any other way. So we're okay with this minor incursion. Make a motion to approve this as submitted. Yeah, your seconds. Unanimous, so Ed, this is approved with this minor encroachment of sky exposure plan. Thank
Good luck.
you.
The mailing receipts now, or just.
Yeah, but I think it's just the window. Just the window, right? There's no elevation.
Hunter's Run, please. Are you, O'Leary or something? Oh, all right. You're up. I somehow didn't get this one, or misplaced it. Just the window.
Good evening. My name is Anthony Nana. I work with Michael Architects. I'm here representing Ed and Laura O'Leary. The project that we were working on was to renovate the interior of the condominium. There are a couple issues that we wanted to address. We added a window in the dining room area, which is this elevation here. It was currently, and there was a window there at one time when the condo was initially constructed. It was since then enclosed, and now we want to put it back to get some more natural light into the dining room. In the rear of the property, there is right now a sliding glass doorway going onto the deck. We want to make it into a single swinging glass door and put a double hung window adjacent to it. This is now going to be the kitchen. If you you saw the demo plan, you see that we flip-flop the dining room and the kitchen area. The O'Learys do a lot of entertaining, and they wanted to have a pretty much an open plan for the interior. So that's what we proposed.
So it's just the one kitchen, one door and one window?
There's the front, they're gonna be changing the front door, and then they're gonna be adding the window on the side here for the dining room. And the rear, it's gonna fit in the same rough opening that's there now. It's gonna be a single swing door out to the deck, and double hung window adjacent. And that because you want additional cabinet counter space below the window.
Okay, I think this is a simple application. I have no issues. Any comments?
We did receive homeowners association approval. All the finishes are gonna match the existing condominium complex.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Get a copy of that or homeowners association?
No.
You have it right?
Are you here? Are you neighbors?
Just a quick question.
Yes, come on up, if you would come.
Quick question.
If you've got a question, you've got to commit.
Nothing with that, just.
Oh, okay, I understand, so maybe afterwards, so let's make a motion to approve this as submitted. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Yeah, your second's unanimous, thank you.
Have a good night.
Yes, please. Would you take the microphone and state your name?
My name is Chi Wei Chan, is Nancy Chan, and we are on 59 Blanchard Avenue.
59?
Blanchard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blanchard.
Is it okay to ask a question even though it wasn't about what
Not
the meeting?
related.
Please.
Sure.
Just a concern about one of my neighbors. They bought the house like 2013, and I'm not quite sure if they know the rules, planning board and things like that, but they kept having, every year, I know that they kept trying to hire not a contractor, someone they want to level the side of their, next to their garage to try and build, in the back of the garage and to park their car. So, yeah.
That's not a concern of this board, that's building department concern, and you can speak to me in my office at any time.
Oh, okay, yeah,
So,
'cause, we had dealt with Ryan Cook before, so
Okay,
we're not sure if he's still here or not, but,
he's still here?
Oh, okay.
Talk to either one of us.
okay, all right. So we just have to make an appointment and speak to you?
You can make an appointment, you can email either of us, our email addresses are on the Cosray website.
Okay. I mean, they haven't done anything yet, but what I'm worried is that they kept trying to get estimates, and I'm just afraid that they're gonna do the work without our knowledge or sending
Right.
any variance, and that's
Or
why.
permit.
Right,
Right.
or permit,
Well,
and I'm not quite sure.
We're happy that you bring that to our attention,
Okay.
and we'll look into it.
Okay. So what happens if they decide to start the work and then go through the whole process?
And we go out and we issue a stop work order
Okay,
and make them go through the process, and if it's denied, they have to restore it back to its original condition.
okay, I see, okay, all right.
Okay?
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you so
Welcome.
much.
Good night.
Good night.
No minutes, so we'll continue those to the next meeting.
Seconded.
Yeah, your seconds, unanimous. Motion to adjourn tonight's meeting. Yeah, your seconds, unanimous, meeting adjourned. Thanks.